been away for a couple of weeks. The JBC returns. How you doing, Tor?
I'm good. I've eaten so much chocolate.
Have you?
A disgusting amount of chocolate in many forms.
Yeah.
Like cornflake cakes, just chocolate, like just so much. I mean, that's what Easter's about, right? Celebrating chocolate.
Yeah, it's the Hollow Chocolate Jesus Festival, isn't it? It's funny. It's one of those.
That's what they call it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, though. Do you know something? Honestly, this year, there was not a single Easter egg in my house, and none of my kids had Easter eggs this year as well. Yeah, and I know.
What?
I know. Do you know something? I'll be honest with you. Like, normally we're surrounded by chocolate, but one thing I've noticed, like, as the years have gone on, is that the kids, although they will eat sweet stuff and things, a lot of the time, I say the kids, sorry, my youngest is 18 and my oldest is 24. But, you know, the thing is that
The kids.
it's still my kids, you know what I mean? But what would happen is that we just end up with boxes and boxes of unopened Easter eggs that would all sit on top of the fridge. And then at some point, you go, oh, I might open one of these. And you know when the chocolate starts to go white and it's discoloured and it gets a bit weird. So it was just kind of like, no. So do you know what I made for Easter?
What did you make?
I made an Easter moussaka. That's what I made. I made a brown.
Oh, that's stereotypical thing. Oh, it's an Easter moussaka day. Yeah, I believe it is.
I made a brown
Well,
lentil moussaka.
About 6 cornflake cakes that were like, they were like boulder
The size of your face.
Made out of 3 different types of chocolate and crunchy nut cornflakes because that's like extra decadent. And like on a Sunday, I had a Munchies Easter egg with the 2 bars of Munchies and a Terry's chocolate orange. Oops.
Why aren't you like sort of like 16 foot wide by now?
I think I'm just like fat on the inside.
Yeah.
I think all of my arteries are just like. I will stop eating chocolate. So yeah, the bank holidays basically spent eating chocolate and deleting smut off my phone because I realised I filled my phone up and then was like, oh shit, oh god, we're doing a new series. So I've just been going through and deleting like loads of really awkward photos, like ones that I didn't use or ones that were too inappropriate or like, so that's how I spent my bank holiday.
Do you know something? I did exactly the same. Do you know how much I deleted? Do you know how much I deleted off my phone alone? 3.2 gig worths. Yeah, gig worths of like nonsense and smut and videos and various bits and pieces that we've done for the JBC. So we start nice, clean, innocent, you know, spring, clocks have changed, it's all good. I've decided that I'm not going to miss a week of recording with you from now on because bad things happen to me on days where I don't record with Tor. So,
why? What happened?
So last week, because I wasn't recording with you and I had like problems with the computer, and it was just taking forever. You know, like one of those updates that says, right, just press update and it sits at 1% for like 6 hours.
Have you died?
No, I know. So I decided, right, that's it. I'm going to leave the house. Was driving up to North London to go to a Chinese supermarket because I really like going to like different style supermarkets. You know what I mean? Driving back down the A1 and my tyre blew when I was going at 70 miles an hour.
Oh, no.
Yeah, which was pretty terrifying. I can say now I am safe. Honestly, it was not the nicest experience at the time when it happened. But kids, check your tyres before you leave the house. That's all I'm going to say. But so I've decided that I'm not allowed a week off because if I do, bad things happen.
Bad things happen. Just don't ever leave the house if we can't get a recording in.
No, exactly.
No, it is petrifying. My head gasket blew once when I was doing like 75 on the fast lane.
Oh my goodness.
I was so lucky because I just decided to pull off to a service station. I don't normally ever stop, but I was like, it's going to be a long event tonight, whatever. So I was like, I'll just pull over and quickly like grab a drink or whatever. So I just started pulling out to go onto the slip lane and everything just like exploded and stopped working. And I was like, fuck. So I like coasted.
Goodness.
I managed to like just pull into the bit, even it splits like lorries one way, cars the other way.
Yeah.
I managed to like just before my car completely lost all power, I just creeped past that bit.
Wow.
And it was like sideways shitting it down with rain. And I was just there like, oh God, this is the worst. So I called the AA, and they're on like speed dial by that point because my car was like, the dashboard was like Christmas, like literally everything on it was lit up because it was just dying on me. And he turned up and was like, oh, I'll get you on the road in no time. I opened my bonnet up and was like,
nope.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. I was like, great. So yeah, it's pretty terrifying when it goes. So I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, to be fair, it was almost the same experience that you had. That literally, my tire blew about 300 meters from a slip road off onto, So I was lucky because if it had happened like 2 miles before, there was no hard shoulder. You thank
scary stuff, man.
You thank Hollow Chocolate Jesus for moments like that.
Thank God for Hollow Chocolate Jesus praying and looking down on us over the Easter weekend.
Yes. Well, Tor stuffing her face with chocolate. So, JBC season 4. Do you know something?
Ooh.
I'm pretty excited about this one, but I've also realised that I think this will be the sort of milestone of the furthest we can go for reasons that I will explain. Which is the 30-year mark. I think anything after 30 years, I'll explain in a bit the reasons as to why I don't think we could go any further. It's got nothing also to do with like print copyright in 27 years, but it might have something to do with that as well. But so picture the scene. When we last podcasting, Tor was in her 20s, and all that long time ago, and we decided that to be able to mark the fact that she was hitting a better decade, that we would hit a magazine from the year of her birth, from 1991.
Oh my God, yes, we are, aren't we?
We are.
90s. Oh God, does that mean I have to try and do like 90s outfits for this?
Do you know something?
That was a bad year for fashion.
Oh, no, but I was going to say, Tor, the great thing about 1991, right, is I have not changed my style since 1991, and I'm going to put a picture up.
You're already themed every week.
Every single week.
Costume.
It's just so easy. It's funny. I've got a picture.
So 90s. Before we get onto that, so the 90s, we can probably expect like, I imagine there'll be from like a porn mag angle. There'll be less bush.
Yes.
Because that's a thing where like body hair started depleting. So I imagine there'll be some more trimmed for JJs going on.
It's kind of like, it's like 50-50. That's what it is. It's like 50-50. I'd say the thing I've noticed. I mean, to be fair, let me show the front cover of the publication, right? And then we'll go into the details. We'll explain from there. So we are hitting 1991, and we are hitting the gentleman's magazine known as Club International, which is quite a high market magazine. With
exciting.
With this young lady on it. I don't think you can see that. I'll be putting the picture up here. Look, but she is fully clothed. She is fully clothed. So, and on the back cover, equally, there's nothing rude or naughty there. We're talking phone sex lines. So I can actually do this on YouTube and not get myself in trouble. I've not had to build her any pants. She's got her own pants on. She's wearing a top. She's fully dressed.
We're sorted. Great.
Yes, yeah. But so 1991. So this is volume 20, number 10. The front cover says sexy Kim Bassinger's boobs. So it's an interview, but with Kim Bassinger's boobs as opposed to the rest of her. It's also got girls who love girls. Oh, bisexual bimbos, Justine and Emma, do it all.
Fuck off! Bisexual bimbos. I already hate this.
Yeah. And you're gonna love this bit even more. So it's a collector's edition because it's Ginny's sexiest moments. And in the bottom right-hand corner, it says, and again, this is 1991, just for anybody who suddenly just happened upon this podcast and wondering why on earth Jamie is saying such a thing. It says, packed with jumbo nibbly jubblies. Yes, yeah.
Nibbly?
Jumbo nibbly jubblies.
That's quite a tongue twister.
Jumbo nibbly jubblies. And clearly that's going to be the name.
Anyone who's listening, I encourage you to try and say that 3 times fast. That one's...
Yes. Jumbo Nibbly Jumbly
Jumbo Nibbly Jubblies.
Jubblies. And yeah, so that will be the name of this first episode. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to check it there.
Of course.
Yes. Yeah. So going into 1991, because for you were just born. Whereas
I was literally born. I have no, apart from the fact that my mum used to dress me in, oh God, some of the outfits when I was a baby were absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
A favourite one was it looked like a kind of parachute. You could throw me out of a plane and I would have safely just come back down.
One
to
of those
Earth.
squirrel
It's like
suits.
Kind of like
yeah.
baby shell suits kind of thing. But I literally was like every colour under the sun. But yeah, I would have safely just floated back down to Earth, I think.
Yeah.
But yes, I don't remember obviously much of that year because I was wee.
No, whereas for me, in 1991, I started at the grand old age of 13. And by, of course, 1999, I was 24. So that's what you would class the 90s as my formative years. And probably,
Yes.
and unfortunately as well, sadly, my introduction to pornography as well. So, yeah. So if
Although you said this was highbrow, so I imagine you weren't reading this one in that bit of time.
No. Although this was classed as one of the more highbrow on quality magazines, if you know what I mean. But do you know something? And I'll tell you something about this particular magazine, which has made me realise that I am the stories are good, and clearly, next week we're going to be reading the first of those stories. But the photographs and the images, I think, then very much from the 90s switched to being far more self-aware, far more edited. The women are far more perfect, and
okay, so it's like airbrushing and stuff. Coming in and...
yeah. So I think it's kind of like, in a way, I know this sounds daft, but to me, I'm already looking at this magazine as something where I'm like, oh, this feels more like our modern world of,
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen this last couple of days, but, obviously the Kardashians are always everywhere, with Kim becoming a billionaire. And then there's been this photograph of Khloe Kardashian. I know the Kardashians' names. How bad is that? Anyway, so there's this photograph of Khloe Kardashian that's been sent sort of unedited of her in a bikini. And she looks like a woman in her mid-30s wearing a bikini. There's nothing wrong with the photograph, but the fact is that it's not been airbrushed, it's not been photoshopped, it's not been styled in any way, they've not put filters on it. And of course, there's been this big, huge thing where the Kardashian, lawyers have been trying to get it off the internet and things. And yeah, so I mean, that's the thing about this magazine, is you can start seeing this kind of like change in the way that people view themselves.
About all that style stuff, though, like with the airbrushing, all that amount of editing. It's like, would you not be scared when people then see you in real life?
Yeah.
Because like that's just so unrealistic what you actually look like. You can't fake that when you're actually talking to someone.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like, I understand maybe like getting rid of like spots and stuff if you're doing like beauty shoots and things, but that whole thing when you're like changing face shape with apps or like doing all that stuff, it's like when people actually meet you in real life, it's just going to be like, who are you?
Well, they do crazy stuff now, isn't it? I know there's this whole thing where you can get like people live stream but using like deep fake like technology so that they look entirely different. And there was this one particular one, I think somewhere in Asia, where sometimes the technology is just so advanced and phenomenal, and at just some point through, it's like her face melts and you see the woman underneath. And yeah, I mean, it is
deep
crazy.
Fake stuff scares the life out of me. Just it's petrifying what people can do.
Yeah.
And it looks so real. It's just like, no, that really creeps me out. Okay, so we've got more airbrushed models and stuff in this one. Okay, and are there any tracksuits and shell suits in there as sexy outfits? Because that was all the 90s, wasn't it?
No, I mean...
I'm just remembering there was like the glitter gel tops and there was like the 2 strands of hair. That was like late 90s though, I think.
Yeah. There's definitely... it's definitely early 90s. I mean, it's funny because I was trying to sort of think of like what it was like in the early 90s. And I guess because I've always been a bit of an alternative boy, the fact is that my experience of the 90s was probably entirely different. In fact, even in this photograph in the background here, there's a poster for Spiral Tribe, and Spiral Tribe was like one of the early kind of like illegal dance like festivals that everybody would go to. You know what I mean? You know, like you'd suddenly go like, right, you know, we're all going down the M1. We'll see you in like Bedford or whatever, and then you'd all be dancing in a field. You know what I mean? You know, with your whistles and your acid
for
faces.
Next week, shall we try and find photos of us in 1991 just to put up as a cute?
Yeah, because
I'll try and find a baby tour.
Well, the crazy thing with this is in 1991, let's be honest, you're going to look cute and I'm going to look like some spotty teenager. And it's going to clearly mark out again how ridiculously old I am in comparison to you.
I've got some, one of my favourite pictures of me as a baby. It might be in 1992 that I won't be able to use it. But I'm in the worst jumper you've ever seen. Yeah. It's like this knitted monstrosity that's like red with green zigzags and spots and pom-poms. Like, it's awful. And I'm sat there and I'm in the corner of like a sofa, rested against a cushion. And I'm pulling the most evil face. It's like I'm planning to take over the world. I'm probably sat there like... camera. And it's one of my favourite photos of me as a baby. So I just look so like, pudding.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Although, do you know something, actually, on the subject of photographs, it's really funny. Like, my youngest Cyrus, she's 18 now, but I found a photograph of when we got our dog Peppy, and that was like 11 years ago. So Cyrus was like 7 at the time. In fact, the last time you met Cyrus, she was around that age as well. You know, she was this tiny little tot, and well, at least in my eyes. And anyway, so I showed her this picture, and I'm like, "Oh, you look fabulous!" And she's wearing this big like red check scarf, and then she's wearing these red plaid trousers, and she's like, "Dad, you must have dressed me. You just look horrendous. You know, I just look horrendous and all this kind of stuff." And it's like, "Mum, what have you done with my hair?" And all, you know, all of those sort of things. So I just sent her this photograph that I've got, which I may put up on here. I'll definitely send to you, just because, I mean, to be honest, I've embarrassed myself enough. I get naked like most of the time on this show anyway. So
exactly.
Yeah. So I'm wearing purple corduroys with patches over the knees, pink socks, and a rainbow coloured jumper. And I'm like, listen, you had no hope when you had me as a dad. So yeah.
No, that's a strong look. I mean, to be fair, I went through a very multicoloured phase when I was probably around that same age. There's a photo of me stood in the back garden with an outfit that I made myself. It was like a multicoloured crop top with multicoloured leggings and then a blue fur coat that had like white tips to it.
Wow.
It was a strong look.
Yeah.
Like, I went through a phase of making a lot of my own clothing. But apparently, cords, they're coming back in. So if you still got them, you're going to be the most fashionable person.
Perfect. And I've explained this before. I have an old school friend from sixth form who every so often will, usually when he's had a drink, he'll just message me and just put, "JB, corduroy equals no shag." And
I mean, truer words have never been said, have they, really?
Well, I don't know. I wore a lot of corduroy in my late teenage years, and I didn't do too badly. But yeah, it was just that thing of like, you know,
get the pulling cords out again. No, apparently cords and flares are coming back in. So
hopefully not together. In fact, actually, this photograph I've just shown is me in corded flares.
In the 90s, I had a pair of turquoise flared cords that I made myself.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'd like sewn on like, it was when like, no, it might have been a bit later than the 90s. It was like when the skater phase was kind of it might have been like really early noughties.
We're talking Avril Lavigne.
So I made them myself. So they were big. Cord, like really turquoise. They were bright. Wow. And I sewed like big pockets on in different material. There was like the chains on there. It was strong look.
Do you know something? I think we were always, you know, although different ages, I think we were always destined to be friends, just purely because of our bold clothing choices.
Horrendous, bonkers fashion choices.
I just I genuinely, I mean, well, actually, last season I did dress as a creepy clown, but you know, a lot of the time people have said to me, "Jamie, you dress like a clown," and I'm like, thank you. Actually, I kind of like that. That's cool. That's all right. You know. That's
what I was going for.
Yeah. In fact,
I'll see if I can find some of my most dubious fashion choices, because there were a lot. I had a neon orange cape.
Oh really?
What does this?
No,
this t-shirt
I'm repping.
say?
I'm repping my favourite radio station today, which is North Norfolk Digital. It's where Alan Partridge was in the wilderness years. Actually, yeah.
Oh man! Oh, I'm just thinking about some of the. Oh yeah. No, it was neon orange fleece on one side
Yeah.
and like neon orange satin on the other. It was reversible, depending on how I wanted to wear it. And it was like a cape with a big collar.
It sounds great. But do you know, actually, you were saying about things coming back in.
I don't think that's going to come back in, and I'm fine with that.
I really hope so. But genuinely, I was a skater in the early 90s as well. And I had a bum bag, which was like, it was a maroon bum bag with like a kind of like tribal pattern on it, which had like, it was part of like Vision streetwear. So it had Vision across it. And the other day, Syra, she's hoping to go to Reading Festival, and she said she was looking for bum bags and she was buying like one online. And I thought, you know what? I remember that bum bag. I love it. I know it's somewhere. It's like in the roof or something.
Have you found it?
I haven't yet. But do you know something? I searched for them, Tor, and these things are now going for upwards of 150 quid as a retro. Yeah, and it was my little bum bag where I like had my mum's silk cut cigarettes that I'd stolen, and like weed and cassette tape and a lighter and
I love the idea of that. Walk around with a cassette tape.
Yeah, I know. But yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to explore the 90s. As I said, the magazine itself will probably play second fiddle to that. But what we're going to be doing is next week we're going to be going into the first of the stories. It's funny. I downloaded this whole magazine and scanned it in, and then for some reason the scanner's gone bananas, so I have to re-scan it in again this week.
Oh no!
So that we get.
There's just too much. There's too much 90s for the scanner to take. It's like no.
I know. So next week we are going to be reading from Couples Confess with a story called Dirty Discovery, which kind of sounds slightly unpleasant as opposed to sexy, but we will find out.
We'll find out.
We'll find out where it goes from there.
Are we doing the contents page next week, or are you going to give us a little nibble now?
Do you know something? The front page was so good, and the contents page itself is very, very brief. But I will read. I will read to you the very, very quick titles, just so you know.
Okay.
So we've got, because it doesn't give descriptions, we've got tease, in the bag, time A, gobble, Susie, Laurie, interview, Ginny, Corrine, gripping yarns, Catherine, talking blue, Diana, and Michaela. There we go. So I'm
excited for gobble.
Yeah.
This is either going to be a really weird story about a turkey or something to do with like blowjobs.
Yum, yum, yum.
That's my guessing.
Yeah, it's about weddings apparently, but.
About weddings.
Yeah.
Okay. But I was well off.
Yeah, I know. We'll get to that. We'll get to that at a later week. But yeah. So get yourself ready for new stories from the 90s.
Very excited.
Expect hopefully some new words, because we've become quite accustomed to the ways of describing pubic areas. In the 70s and 80s.
Yes, let's see. I mean, like, Quim was very dated. We did have that back in one of them. That only appeared in... Was that one in...
I feel like that was maybe Experience.
I think that was Experience that we had.
Maybe
Quim.
once, yeah.
And there was a lot of Clunge, but the actual C-bomb. But I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on YouTube or not. So
no.
C-bomb.
And I've still said
that
it.
That one appeared in the later ones. We had lots of globes, didn't we, for describing... butts. I'm excited, yeah. I don't know what new words there would be for describing.
No, I don't know. Just looking the first paragraph, I can see our first pussy. So that seems to be a favourite.
We got a pussy already.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah. Anyway, because I'm going to cough, I'm going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Yeah.